Hey everybody, it's Dina Rico with the Creativity Cave, and I have this beautiful card to share with you. I'm so excited about this card for a few different reasons. The first one is it's quick and easy to make, which I of course love. There's just a little bit of coloring, but not too much. And I made a custom size rectangle shape for my sentiment, and I'm going to show you how I did that. It's all super easy and fun. It features a fantastic set called Country Home. This is one of my favorite sets in the holiday catalog. There's lots and lots of things you can do with this great set. So let me get started and show you how I'm going to put this together. I will also remind you that in the description of this video, there are links to both my online store as well as to my blog post to show you additional photos as well as all the supplies and dimensions for everything that I used and colors and whatnot. So, oh my gosh, sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. You know how, well, anyway, I just like choked on myself. Okay, so I'm going to start by taking my gray granite card base and just folding it in half. And then I'm going to set that aside because I'm going to stamp on a piece of Whisper White cardstock. I am going to be stamping with gray granite ink. And this is one of the things that I kind of forget about a little bit with our Stampin' Blends is I can stamp in this color and still color with blends. I don't have to use my black Memento ink for every single thing. So I've got it in gray granite. I'm going to just move it over and stamp it once more. I'm going to kind of work across my card like that. I'm sort of turning these a little bit just so that everything is not, cookie cutter going across. So there's my last one. Now with the last one, I'm going to actually stamp it once on my side of my cardstock, my scrap paper, and then stamp it again. Now, the reason I did that is because the part that was off the side of this might not have inked as evenly, and I didn't want like a big weird line on this lighter stamped off image. You know what I'm saying? I'll give you an example. So I just stamped this off the edge of my cardstock, and look, when I stamp it again, part of it is real dark and part of it is light, so I didn't want this on my card. So that's how I got rid of that. I'm going to close this up because I'm done with it. And I'm going to go ahead and color this. And like I said, the coloring's really easy. I'll start with my Old Olive Combo blends. And I'm going to work from dark to light on on just the leaves, I guess, actually. So I'm going to put a little bit of the dark blends on here. And then I'll work my way lighter. Now, I have to tell you, I did not come up with this card idea all on my lonesome. This was a card that was on a display board when I was on my Alaska trip, my Alaska incentive trip with Stampin' Up! Back in July. And they revealed to us the new holiday catalog on that trip, and they had display boards for us. And this was one of the projects. I've altered it a little bit, but it was one of the projects that was on there. And actually, I kind of was dying to make it. And normally I don't case things from other people or other places. I like to come up with my own ideas on my blog, although there's a little bit of pressure involved in that. But anyway, I really like this card, so I wanted to make it. And then this was the challenge for the What Will You Stamp blog challenge this week. So it kind of worked out that I got to both make my card and show you this particular one. And the funny thing is as I'm coloring these in, I'm not 100% sure where all the leaf lines are. So we're just kind of going with it, and that's okay. One of the things that I always tell people is the person who gets your card or sees your card does not understand that the sample might have looked differently, or the thing that you're basing it off of might be different. So I just want you to be comfortable knowing that if your card does not look exactly like mine, it's okay. Don't worry, because no one's going to know. And I often believe that we are our own worst critics. And this is stamping, you guys. It's supposed to be fun and exciting, so you don't have to worry about that. Okay, next I'm going to use my Rich Razzleberry Light and Dark, so combo, blends, and I'm going to color just this one flower in. And I'm just going to kind of go across this with the light. And then the reason usually I go dark first, but this one doesn't really have anything as far as shading lines for me to kind of follow. So I'm just going to go light, and then I'm going to add in a couple shading lines on my own. So if they don't have shading lines, we can just create them. And I'm just sort of, I don't know, I guess you can just kind of go in the center and whatever. It doesn't matter. I kind of did that wonky, but whatever. Okay, so that looks fine. And then I'm going to use the dark Blackberry Bliss. So this is a little darker color. I'm going to color in these little berry dot whatever things these are. I always laugh when I'm stamping or coloring stamped images of like botanical stuff, because I actually have a degree in biology. I used to teach high school biology, but I often feel like a fish out of water when it comes to plant-based things, because I don't know the colors of flowers, like what they're supposed to be. I don't know what the name of a lot of things are. Like, I don't know what these things are. I'm pretty sure they're dark brown, but we're going to color them Cajun Craze because then it'll look nicer with my card. And I think that's totally fine. You don't have to be an expert to make beautiful cards, and people will love them all the same. I will say, though, that it cracks me up. One time, maybe a year or two ago, I was making a card that I was sure was lavender, or not lavender, lilac. And I was talking, I was calling it lilac, and then people started telling me that it was actually a hyacinth. And I was like, oh yeah, that does actually make a little bit more sense now, doesn't it? So I think that was really funny. Anyway, again, I'm not an expert, but I think this is just cute. So I colored these with my light blend, and then I'm just putting a dot on all the dark circles with my dark blend just to, add some interest to this. And then last but not least, we are going to do a little spritzing on this, because if you follow my videos, you know spritzing is a good thing. And then I'm going to show you how that neat rectangle came to be. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Now I'm going to take my regular Stampin' Write marker, and I'm sure the first question I'm going to get is, can you do this with the blends? And the answer to that is no, but you can do it with a Stampin' Write marker. The blend tips are too firm and the ink is not as juicy as you need it to be for this to work, and so that's why. Now I'm going to take this and I put this in the cap of my pen and then flick it. Now, the first question I get after will my blend work for that is, will this ruin your marker? And the answer to that is no. It's not going to ruin your marker any more than regular use of your marker is going to use it. Now, if I did every single card with just Blackberry Bliss spritzing, yes, that will ruin my marker faster over time. But I find in the colors that I use, the marker I use the most is for sure Basic Black, and you can get that as an individual marker. But this, for the regular colors, is just fine. All right, now I want to show you this. So this is the square that I used to create this rectangle. And I'm going to show you how I put this together. I'm going to set that aside because we're done with that for right now. And I'm going to bring in my Big Shot. Now normally when I do this, I die cut upside down, but I think today, just because of the awkwardness of this being on my table, I'm going to do it right side up. So I've got my die on here. And what I want to do is... and the other thing is, too, with this, you have to see what you're doing. So then I've got my plate, and I'm going to put my plate in here so that it is not touching the end of my die. So do you see that? I'm only cutting part of it. So it's only going to cut where this plate is on. Okay, and oh, my cranking is over here. So awkward. Ugh. Okay, so then I'll show you what this looks like. I've got a partially cut shape. Okay, so perfect. We're all set right now. Then what I'm going to do is I need to figure out how far across this needs to be. Okay, and I could emboss it, but to be honest, I'm just going to kind of ballpark it with my sentiment. So I know I want it to be roughly that big, okay? and you can kind of figure it out however you want. But what I've done is I've situated it so that my die fits perfectly in there. Do you see how it's lined up on the edge? Perfect. It just kind of will set in and you'll feel it. Like I can't move it around because it's kind of in there. All right, and then what I'm going to do is put this back through my die cut, or my Big Shot, but this time, and I got it out, there we go. Scooch it down just a teeny bit. It's a little easier to do kind of in the air. There we go. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to make sure I don't cut this part, or I'm going to have a little skinny strip and then a square. We don't want that. We want the rectangle. So once again, I'm going to feed my plate partially in to my Big Shot. And gosh darn it, if I can't keep this from getting out of sorts here. Okay, there it is. It's in. Oh my gosh, I can literally hear my husband saying that's what she said. He likes The Office. Okay, so now I'm going to cut that. And what we have left is a rectangle. How cool is that, you guys? And it's the perfect size. So you can customize the size of your rectangles by using your square framelits. This will work for the stitched shape and the regular squares. I haven't tried it on a scallop square, and I suppose if you line the scallops up just right, it'll probably work for that. But like I said, I haven't tried it. Now I'm going to emboss my sentiment on here. So I'm going to start by dropping my embossing buddy. Since I've been touching this piece of paper, all of my oily fingers have gotten stuff on there. So we're going to use the embossing buddy. Hopefully that'll keep things a little neater. And then I'll stamp my sentiment. It's also found in this stamp set. So grateful for someone like you in my life. I love that sentiment. I'm going to heat emboss it with some white embossing powder. And I have like a little paper scoop in here. So I can just kind of pick that up and then scoop it on to my cardstock. And that looks pretty good. I like to give it a little flick. That looks awesome. We'll heat it up quick and then we'll put the rest of our card together. I always heat from the back, and someone actually told me that is the proper way to do it. I don't know. It works for me. I like to be able to see it change. Sometimes when it's blowing and your heat tool is in your way, it's hard to see that, so that's just what I do. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to pop this up onto my card with some dimensionals. And then last but not least, we're going to embellish this a little bit with these cute little galvanized clips. These are also in our catalog. Okay, so I'll bring my card back in here. I'll just pop this up on top of my card. So cute. Kind of like that. And then for my clip, I'm going to use some of our braided linen trim. And like I said, one of those galvanized clips. These are so cute to add just kind of a fun little touch to your card. And it's not real thick, so it will mail nicely. I'm just going to tie this trim on here a little bit, and then we'll cut it short and fray the ends just to make it kind of cute looking. And then that's it. Now, if you would like to purchase any of these products, I would so appreciate it. I'm really excited because I am getting super close to hitting my $1 million sales mark with Stampin' Up! And I am so proud of that. It's only taken me 20 years, but I have done it. So I would love and appreciate your support in helping me reach that goal. I should be able to do it by the end of this year. and that just kind of has me giddy. I'm not even going to lie. So if you follow me on social media, make sure you stay tuned because I've got lots of exciting stuff coming up. And of course, anyone who orders through my online store is going to be a part of the celebrations. So there we go, you guys. That's my card. Isn't that awesome? If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I am so happy to be stamping with you today, and I'll see you again soon. Bye, guys.